On stage at the moment is Mick Gillespie, County Chairman for the last
Ladies and gentlemen,
Donegal. John Travers is now starting to address the
we'll start the
crowd.
The proceedings now.
Of Jerry McIntyre,
First of all,
McMahon, Tom Daly.
You might have noticed that up at the top table there was one seat left vacant. It wasn't because we couldn't get anybody to fill it, but we left it vacant in order to draw attention to all those people involved in the association as players and officials that are unable to be here tonight. The people who have died and consequently can't be here. So we'll start by a minute's silence for those people who are
minutes for the deceased members of the Aodh Ruadh Club.
Thank you. Now, Father Ambrose O'Gorman will say grace after meals.
Father Ambrose, brother of Al O'Gorman, former Donegal and hero footballer.
Right, first of all, we'd like to introduce Tom Daly,
son of former
myself,
Daly,
John Travers, George McIntyre, and Micheál Gillespie, County Chairman.
A round of applause for the people on the platform.
In order to streamline this and have it as short as possible, we have three on stage together. We'll be going through the various eras. When people will do the 20s and 30s, people involved will be called up for presentation. If they, having received their presentation, if they wait there, anybody who wants to take photographs, press or otherwise, they will be there after the presentation. Then we go on to the 40s and 50s presentations, and then on to the 60s and 70s. The first presentation that we'll be starting with is a presentation by the county board to all those people who have played representing their county over the various in the various age groups. Micheál Gillespie will make that presentation. So I'll introduce Micheál Gillespie to speak for a few moments.
Micheál Gillespie, one of Donegal's finest chairman ever, is about to address the people.
Agus a carja lig, Kayamir dus to knock my way to go the club Irua Bella Shani is a caru a horse do Fain Shaw again Junior August and Chocolate Kayla Shaw and knocked. This is indeed, whether some of us realise it or not, a terrific historic occasion, and the most historic occasion in the Aodh Ruadh Club since the founding of the association, and it will be the most historic occasion until 100 years from now comes around again. This club, being 75 years old or 75 years young at this present time, is one of the oldest existing clubs in this county. It was founded in 1909, and even though others had been together and taken part in our games at that time, very few of them have existed until this day. This club, and this is only a surmise of mine, must be the club in the county that has produced most county players, certainly in football, and a tremendous amount of players in hurling as well. And great credit is due to the club down through the years for that. The presentations that are to be made to you tonight from the County Board are made as a remembrance of what you did for the county, but it's also done with a teeny wee bit of looking forward in it, so that these things that are being presented to you will be in your homes long after you are gone, and that your children's children and their children will remember their ancestors and what they did for the county. Lastly, I would like to say that the Aodh Ruadh Club in Ballyshannon, on account of all the developments they have done, field-wise, team-wise, and culturally, are one of the finest clubs in the country. They have very fine officers. They are in very good shape at this particular time, and let's offer them every encouragement and to show the youth of the area the way forward in the next 100 years.
Sin Neil McGillahastig Taylor contributing all. I guess
these will not be done
Travers
in any order of merit or otherwise.
John Travers Taylor coming area.
Mickey McCafferty.
These are for presentation for former county players in both hurling and football.
Conor O'Neill.
Presentations made by Conor O'Neill, scored 5 goals and a point, I believe, in some
Conor Carney.
County game for his county. Conor Carney.
Mickey Dunn.
Footballer Conor, who knows member teaching staff and in Ballyshannon. Jack Gallagher, one of the greatest Donegal men of
Bob
football
Gallagher.
ways of all time.
PJ Gowan.
PJ Gowan, one of the all-time greats. And let's have a really big round. Sorry, this is Bob Gallagher firstly. Bob Gallagher was PJ Gowan's on his way. Regarded throughout the length and breadth of Ireland as one of the best footballers to have donned the Donegal jersey, Aodh jersey. A really all-star before all-stars were invented.
Sean McHugh.
Sean McHugh, fast now in Belfast, and a great goalie in his time.
Dermot Moriarty.
Dermot Moriarty, a Kerry man, I
Sean
believe,
Slevin.
on his way up there. Long since gone away from Ballyshannon, but still back tonight to receive his presentation.
Brian Murray.
Sean Slevin, what can I say about Sean Slevin? One of the greats on the field, an inspiration to everybody involved in the club and everybody in the area and the club's great. Brian Murray, one of the younger men, newer members on the county panel. Seamus Grimes, a hurler. His father, Jimmy Grimes, was regarded as one of the greatest hurlers ever to.
Rumour has it that this man was at Hayes' Hotel in 1884. It's unconfirmed. Terry McDermott.
Terry McDermott. Well, I do a bigger cheer tonight, and I think that Terry McDermott, one of the famous McDermott family of Ballyshannon, and certainly one of the most famous scales of the area, is coming up now. He's just as sprightly as ever he was. Just look at him there, he's on his way, no bother to him at all. We're all very proud of Terry in the area.
Sean McCormick.
Sean McCormick, a Sligo man, very much loved by Donegal. Played for both Sligo and Donegal. Connacht and Ulster. Teddy Kane.
Ray Sheeran.
Famous Seamus Kane. Ray Sheeran from Roscommon, but very much a Donegal man, and we're all very proud of him. Josie Boyle, one of the great club footballers of the 60s and early 70s.
Alan Kane.
Alan Kane, brother of Teddy's, and a great goalie in 72 and 74.
Seamus Slevin.
Seamus Levin, a brother of the Sean, who went up there previously, another very well-known family in the area for Gaelic games.
Eddie John Gonigal.
Eddie John Gonigal. Another famous name from the past.
Bugger on there, Eddie
and,
John.
Great to see him back and
Sean Boyle.
been receiving his presentation. Sean Boyle, another
very, very distinguished man, way back, Aidan Sweeney.
Sean Boyle from your generation, but I don't see Sean appearing. Aidan Sweeney,
Sean Boyle, Mr.
a
Sean
very
Boyle.
distinguished former Eru player from the
Sean
early
Boyle.
days. He travelled from Wicklow here tonight, he tells me, and is really
Pádraig
delighted to be
McShee.
here. Pádraig McShee, former Ulster fullback, one of the best footballers Donegal have had in the 60s, 70s. Sean Boyle, of course.
Tommy
Sean
McDermott.
as well there at the same Tommy, grandson of the
Jackie
Dodger and
McDermott.
son of Jackie, and his father coming up behind him, and father, son, and of course the Jackie's a nephew of Terry's, and Tommy's a grandnephew. Both of giving sterling football,
Seamus
sterling
Cleary.
service to Donegal and Eru indeed. Seamus Cleary, another great player, a goalie.
Thomas
in his
Quinn.
time. Thomas Quinn, now living in Dublin, and a great Joseph's man,
Michael
Donegal
McClune.
man. What do we say about Michael McClune, one of the best forwards of all time? Here's Thomas Quinn coming now, firstly. He's slowing down a bit, I think.
Michael McClune.
Michael McClune
Jim Gallagher.
is a great forward, respected by players in every part of the country. Jim Gallagher, surely one of Donegal's
Gorman.
best ever footballer, and on the Donegal team of the century, and very much deservedly so. Aodh Gorman, another Ballyshan man of renown, and
Mick Melly.
Aodh is now receiving his plaque, and here comes Mick Melly, one of the greatest full-backs of all time, and he's up to
Sylvester
receive his
Maguire.
presentation from McGilla Aspig, and cheers of the night for Mick Melly, and why not? Former Ulster player as well, with Sylvester Maguire, one of the players of the future, one of the most dedicated young fellas in the area, and a good cheer for Sylvester. And it's nice to see Sylvester,
I think that's
McNally,
all
Jim
that we
Natch
have here tonight. The other
Jackie
people that we
McDermott in
have
the same-
certain things for, we'll be able to get in contact
in the
with.
same
Now we'll
presentation.
proceed shortly. I think that the people... there's photographers coming up here. So you can...
I think the players who have been just presented with these
very too big a group. Perhaps if you come up here.
with these what are they? What we call them, plaques or scrolls. Every one of them are very worthy of their presentations, and you have a who's who of county football there, certainly of Donegal football, and tonight is really a night of the gathering of the stars.
While we're waiting, Mark Cleary and Pat McGovern.
There are
Mark Cleary and Pat McGovern.
players
please.
who've represented Donegal over a very long period. You have Ulster players, you have players who've won championships with St Joseph's, with Aodh Ruadh, and all of them are stars in their own right. We're now waiting for the remainder of the presentations, but let's not forget people like Terry McDermott, for instance, there in the front of the... We're talking at the moment. Terry, for instance, there standing in the front. Terry is one of the... surely is the oldest Gael in the Bally area. Very much involved in the park in Ballyshan at the moment. You just go up there and you'll see Terry there. He's played football in 20s, 30s and I believe the 40s, and he's one of the greatest of all time. His brother, there's Jackie. You have Jackie, who's a nephew of his, Tommy, grand-nephew, and his brother John McDermott, Jackie's father, former chairman of Donegal County Board, former chairman of the Aodh Ruadh Club, all great Gaels and all people respected throughout the length and breadth of the country. Everybody's going back to their seats for the remainder of the presentations. There have been a lot of old friendships renewed here tonight, and before the night's out, there are more. You have Brian Murray and Bob Goller there together. Sean McHugh came all the way from Belfast. Dermot Moriarty, a Kerry man who spent periods in Donegal. Brian McNiff and Red Jack, what are they arguing about?
Last but
where is Brian McNiff's cap?
Toohey.
That's what we want to know. Brian Toohey, how could you forget Brian Toohey? Rumour has it that Brian's buying a new cap for the next game. Brian Toohey, captain of the Donegal under-21 team that won the 82 All-Ireland. And certainly if it is an afterthought, he's by no means. He's one of the bright young men of the Aodh Ruadh Club, and we're all very proud of him. We
have so many presentations to do. In case we have problems made, we apologise beforehand. It's the volume of presentations, as I'm sure you can understand, going back over 70 years, it's very difficult. So I hope nobody's offended if there's any small mistakes made. And now we get to our own club presentations,
for another year
to our players and officials over the last 75 years. First of all, Tom Daly will give a very brief synopsis of the 1920s and 1930s
Tom Daly, son of
history.
Farmer Aodh
and Reverend Fathers, Reverend Brothers, ladies and gentlemen.
Hugh Daly, one of the greatest Gaels of them all.
The period of the club's history from 1909 to 1921 is the part of the history which we're finding it most difficult to get information on.
Tom Daly.
In the leaflets that are on the table, we have given you some of what we have. So, starting off in 1921, one of the earliest references to club activity was actually handball activity. At that stage there was a handball committee locally, and it involved people like P.J. Mundy, Father Trainer and Major Miles. And just to finish with handball, it was resurrected again towards the end of the 1920s, 1929 period, when a committee was formed which ultimately led to the building of the handball alley at the Mall. The original proposals centred on building it in the market yard. At that stage, they went back themselves and traced handball in Ballyshannon to the 1830 period, when it was played behind Gallagher's and Mullins' houses in Market Street, and from about 1880 onwards it was played in the market yard. Going on to 1921 again, there was a junior match, very interesting junior match took place in Bundoran. It almost ended in a riot. The names which the teams took probably reflected that fairly traumatic period of a history. The Ballyshannon team travelled to Bundoran carrying the name the Raiders, and unfortunately they came up against the Snipers, and they went down by a couple of points. The referee is understood as well to have made an early exit from the field. We didn't think that kind of thing happened in those days, but there you are. 1922, Donegal actually won an Ulster Senior Hurling Championship in that year. They beat Antrim 7-1 to 3 goals, and a very prominent hurler at that stage in Ballyshannon was a Garda, Dan Lenihan. He, along with the late Hughie Gallagher, was instrumental in getting hurling going and in developing it at that stage as the club's premier game. He was to die at a very young age. He died sometime 27, 28 when he was only 24 years of age. Paddy Rooney also from Ballyshannon won a medal at that stage. In 24 they won the hurling championship. That will go down as the first senior championship won by the Aodh Ruadh club. 1925, from what we have on record, 1925 shows the club to have been at a really very well developed stage of activity. The De La Salle school had underage football leagues going at that stage, 3 teams involved. There was a town league for hurling involving 3 teams, a town league for football involving 3 teams, including a team called Acres United, which is an area located above Legalshan, between Legalshan and the old Aodh Road. 25 was a time when brothers Lucian and sorry, the other name escapes me at the moment. Brother Lucian was very much involved at that stage anyway. During that year the club ran its own sports day and won a 7-a-side tournament against Donegal Town. The following year they got involved in the sponsorship league. The Democrat presented a cup for the summer league, and a J.J. Crowley from Bundoran presented the club with a set of woolen jerseys. Probably not very suitable for summer football. 27 was a poor year. Things slipped a bit, and one of the reasons highlighted for it at the AGM that year was the fact that with the political situation settling down, a lot of the Gardaí and Army who had been in the locality were pulling out, and it was very much falling back on the local people to get things going again. They really got going again in 29, winning the first senior football championship, getting the Handball Alley off the ground, and 29 also saw the formation of a camogie club, and I think we have a photograph of one of those early camogie teams here tonight. Going into the 30s, probably one of the most successful periods of the club's history. 1930 and 31 saw 2 senior hurling championships, 34 a minor hurling championship, a 3 in a row minor, 35, 36 and 37, senior in 37, and again in 1939. The senior championship game in 37 was at that time recorded as one of the most memorable and most entertaining GA games seen for years. The 39 final saw a win against Guidor. It would be very difficult to start naming out names, but 2 of the players from the 20s period whose names came up time and time again in the records as having played well and having been the key men of the team were Aidan Sweeney and Terry McDermott.
Both
and it's
here
really
tonight.
delightful to have them here tonight.
The elder statesmen of the Aodh Ruadh club, and big round of applause and very deservedly so.
The 1930s, I suppose, was the era of the great players. Some of you, a lot of you would have seen them playing. Of us have just heard how they played, and among the names from those years were Mick Melly, PJ Gone, Al O'Gorman and Red Jack Gallagher, to name but a few.
All really brilliant players, knowing the breadth and length of Ireland.
Just to conclude that period of the club's history, it was noteworthy for me, having been involved in the club over the past few years, that in the 39 final, one of the players who got special mention for his youth was Sean Slevin, and I think we are honoured to have had Sean involved in the GA Ballyshannon every year since.
Man. Still involved, still leading and getting people involved in the club.
Yeah.
We're very grateful to Sean Slevin.
The certificates will now be presented by John.
Club
And
John
the first 2
Travers.
people we'd like to have are Terry McDermott, and Aidan Sweeney.
And surely all the people playing Gaelic football today should be grateful to these people for the example.
Other people who can start coming along, PJ Campbell.
Both of them as sprightly as, yes, both of them very sprightly, surely 67-year-olds.
Father Ambrose O'Gorman. John Foley.
Father, that's Aidan Sweeney, Father Ambrose O'Gorman.
We have a representative of John Foley's family here.
Representative of the John Foley from Kinloch, who is a great area player in the shoot.
Aodh Gorman.
Aodh Gorman, another player who heard stories about. We know he was one of our people in the early days who've led by his example.
PJ Gowan.
PJ Gowan, one of the greatest of all time. Again, coming along here nice and quietly, PJ. To say he could fly along the wing. And I'm sure he was one of the best. The absolute best.
Freddie Grimes.
Freddie Grimes in the Abbey. Great to see people like Freddie here. One of the most popular people here tonight. And enjoying himself as always.
James Daly.
James Daly. James came a long way tonight to get his presentation, and we're all
Mick Melly.
very proud. He's coming along quietly up in the background. I'm afraid Mick Melly is going to beat him to this one. Mick Melly, again, like many's a day, he's beat him to it. But however, one of the greatest fullbacks of all time, Mick Melly, James Daly,
Red Jack Gallagher.
Red Jack. Before my time, but Ulster, Donegal area player, one of the greatest.
Pat McGahern.
Pat McGahern, another man who served for area way in the 30s, and we're all very proud of Pat and the people like him.
And Sean Slevin.
Led before, and Sean Slevin. Again, Sean, what do I say about Sean? His interest, his enthusiasm, everything about Sean Slevin. His GA is a great inspiration to those of us who were lucky enough to be involved in the club in the 80s, and we always looked to Sean for guidance, and we're very grateful for his presence, even at this stage. Now, I think we may have come to the stage.
Conor
where we're
McMahon
taking
will
some
now proceed into the
photographs
1940s and
of this team.
1950s.
Conor's going to give
Good evening.
GA treasure
The team
of
which
the area
played in the
club.
late 1930s carried forward into the 1940s and
Robbie
proved to be
Macy
just
taking
as
some
successful for
photographs
the
here.
Bela Hashani team. While war raged in Europe, the area soldiers had their own battles to fight on the playing fields of Donegal. In 1941, area reached the semi-final of the senior championship, only to be defeated by Clanty's. The following year brought the first success of the decade, with the capture of the Dr. Maguire Trophy. In the semi-final, Ballyshannon defeated St Eunan's by 13 points to gain a final placing with Clanty's.
Nice victory.
This was a closely contested affair with some dogged performances from the Erua men. Players of mention on that occasion were Jack Gallagher, Mick Slevin and Seamus Keane. In 1943, Ballyshannon retained the title, and the goal scorers for this 1943 campaign were PJ Gowan, mentioned many times tonight, Pat Stevens, Jim Flynn and Seamus Keane. The following years were a series of near misses with narrow defeats in several semi-finals. A drawn final in 1945 resulted in a very controversial replay in which Guido defeated Ballyshannon by a convincing margin.
Guido.
In 46 they avenged this, however, with a decisive victory over Guido in the Democrat Cup, which is now known as the League. The score on that occasion was 1-7 to 1 point. They again won the Democrat Cup in 1947, defeating Glenties in the semi-final. This game, however, had to be played twice, because on the first occasion, with 4 minutes to go, the ball was lost in a flood-swollen river. Glenties, as you know, Glenties Field, as you know, is situated beside the river, and on those occasions they just had one ball.
No comment.
The team. Well, in the final.
Definitely no comment.
In the final, Bailon and Shanley lads defeated Gweedore. However, 1949 was barren of all titles. This, however, was a member when Aodh Club purchased a field for £1,050, which is now arguably one of the best fields in the county, if not the best.
Ask me how Gillespie
1950 marked the first ever entry of the Ballyshannon School in the Ulster Colleges competitions. Many county players of past and present first displayed their talents while representing this college. Great credit is due to the Dillasal brothers of yesteryear, and there are 3 here tonight, as you know.
Certainly Brother Canis, Brother Kieran and Brother Rachel, all absolutely dedicated to Gaels, people who...
And of course the lay teachers of our present time, which John Travers, the club chairman, is a member and takes a leading part in the training of the lads now.
Something to these people.
1951 witnessed the first return of the Dr. Maguire Cup to the winding banks of Erne for 8 years. Way to the final, Aodh defeated Erne Hope, that's a team from the Ballybuffet hinterland, Glenties and Carndonna. While in the final they pulled off a surprise victory over St. Eunan's by the narrowest of margins, 1 point I believe it was.
You said it was a surprise.
The following year, Aodh were halted by St. Eunan's in the semi-final of the championship, while our minors were defeated by Letterkenny also. In 1953 was a great year, was a quiet year, I beg your pardon, when we had made an early exit from the senior championship and a semi-final defeat in the Democrat Cup at the hands of Dunlow. 54 was perhaps one of the most important years in the club's history. On the 14th of May, 4,000 people were present to witness the culmination of 6 years' hard work with the official opening of the Father Tierney Park. To mark the occasion, Donegal played Armagh, that's the 1953 All-Ireland finalists, and beat them. The new stadium was opened in memory of Father Cornelius Tierney, who was described in the official guide, and I quote, as an Irishman whose burning devotion to the ideal of an Ireland Gaelic and free marked him as a man among the leaders of the national resurgence movement. In 1954 also, Ballyshannon won the first juvenile hurling championship, defeating Burt by what was surely no cricket score. It was 2 points to no score. 1955, Aodh surprised everyone but themselves by defeating hot favourite St. Eunan's in the Democrat Cup final. The press did not consider who would win, but rather how much St. Eunan's would win by. And rumour has it that a well-known Gaelic Games journalist was seen eating his hat some days after the final.
We won't mention any names.
This is off the top of my head. The following years were pretty quiet. In 53, John's going to get me that, will you get that, John? 53, they made an early exit, and I think it was the semi-final. 57, 58, they were defeated finalists, and thank you, John. Sorry about that now. Right, I'll continue. In 1959 was a golden jubilee year of the club, marking our 50th anniversary, and the minor team reached the final of the championship, were beaten in what was described as a good fast match by Gweedore. Overall, the 40s and 50s were a period of success for the club, with the highlights being the titles, championship titles of 1942, 43 and 51, and victory in the Democrat Cup competition in 46, 47 and 55. I would now like to list the players which were in those championship sides and who have not been already called out. So they are
people who are involved in the 40s have been involved in the 50s, but we're now talking about people who have not already received scrolls for their activities in the 40s.
Tommy Gallagher.
Tom Gallagher. His son Thomas presently plays with the Aodh Ruadh senior team. Great character and
That's Ballantrae.
great hero, man.
Sorry about that.
I am now
Sean McHugh.
just gone slightly astray here. Tommy from Ballantrae, father of Matt and Porrick.
Sean McCormick.
Sean McHugh again here from all the way from Belfast tonight. Sean McCormick, well known for his bread, Milford bread, and former Donegal
Michael
and
Dolan.
Sligo Ulster and Connacht player. Michael Dolan.
Liam McGroarty.
Need I say any more? One of the good characters and
Gallagher.
good player. Liam McGroarty from Rusnella. A very well known player in his time. Jim Gallagher. Jim,
Liam McDevitt.
one of the greatest of all time. Played Donegal and Ulster.
Dermot Moriarty.
Waiting for Liam McDevitt. Another great Gael from Ballyshannon and very well respected. We again have this Kerry man. That's Liam McDevitt now getting his. Dermot Moriarty. The Kerry
Danny
man is
Kane.
domiciled in Ballyshannon for periods. Danny Kane. Well-known Kane family. And
Seamus Cleary.
very deserving of his honour. Seamus Cleary again, a great goalie. One of the great goalies.
Peter Daly.
Period. Another man who's seen service in all the world, USA in particular, and we're all delighted to have him home and living in our midst again in
Michael
on the
Cooney.
winding banks of Erin. Michael Cooney, now chairman of Four Masters, but we won't hold that against Michael.
Podge Dorian.
We certainly won't. Michael was a great hero player and was a great Gael and very respected throughout the county.
Danny
Podge
Sweeney.
Dorian, another great Gael. Danny Sweeney now in Dublin, and
Kieran McCready.
they're very well respected. Kieran McCready,
McCready.
Donegal's liaison officer in Dublin, involved with the county team over a number of years, respected the length and the breadth of Ireland, member of the famous Civil Service Club in Dublin. He's slowing up,
Packy
obviously.
Boyle.
Very slow coming up here, but sure, he is in a hurry tonight. Packy Boyle, Manillis Avenue. Packy is a great player, brother of Sean Boyles, and
Jackie McDermott.
played a lot of fine games for the Aodh Club. Jackie McDermott again, the famous McDermott family. Oh, Jackie,
Jim
a
Mulroe.
fantastic pair of hands, great player. Played in goals, played centre field, played centre half, played full forward. Jim Mulroe now involved with the Garrison Club, or rather Devonish Club, and that's Jackie now. Now we have Jim Mulroe and his son Tommy plays with Devonish, and
Brian
Jim
Stevens.
Brian Stevens, another man of that period.
Patrick
Not
Stevens.
so involved now, but still remembered for his many fine games for the club. Patrick Stevens had to travel a long distance tonight, and we're all very proud to have Patrick here, as we are indeed to have all the members of the era,
John McCready.
and certainly Jerry Mack presenting now to Patrick. We have John McCready coming,
Patsy Hearn.
brother of Kieran, and certainly another great Gael, well known for his commitment throughout the length and breadth of Ireland. Patsy Hearn, who's after a period away from home, or away from
Bob Gallagher.
away from Ballyshannon, has now come back to live in our midst, and we're looking forward to getting him involved in the club. Bob Gallagher, brother of Jack, and a great player in his own right, one of the greatest.
Tommy Martin.
One of the really great players. Here we have Tommy Martin, another great player in that period. Now away from
Eddie John
Ballyshannon.
Gonigal.
But everybody in the area are very proud of his contribution. Eddie John Gonigal again. Read through the history and
Sean Drummond.
can't help making the name of Eddie John Gonigal. He's the greatest. Sean Drummond
Seamus
is in
Slevin.
Derry at the moment for a number of years. He's a great Gael, member of a great Gaelic family, and was a great man in our club. Seamus Levin, brother of
this
Sean,
person
now
is
living
flown
in
in
Letterkenny.
especially from Birmingham for the occasion.
And
Mr. Sean Gattigan.
it's Sean Levin. Now we have Sean McGattigan. And this man has travelled all the way from Birmingham. And Sean showed dedication during his playing days. He continues to show the same dedication, and every one of us is proud to have him in our midst. Thank you, Sean, for coming. Jim Sheeran. I won't make any comment about Jim Sheeran. The clap is enough to credit Jim Sheeran with that. Apart from his involvement with the club, drove many's a team to many's a game. One of the greatest, Jim Sheeran, one of the greatest.
This next person gave me a lot of information on the 1940s and 50s era. Mr. John Murphy.
John Murphy, now in Donegal, living in Donegal town, very much Aodh Ruadh, very much a Ballyshannon man. Always has been a true
Hugh John Gonigal
player and supporter. Hugh John Gonigal, a man who may not be so involved with the club at the moment, but very much a great player in this
Owen O'Neill.
Owen O'Neill. Player, hurler, Donegal, senior, junior, minor footballer, hurler. One of the best.
Tom, the drummer, got her this time.
Secretary of the club. Now, Tom, drummer, got her this time. And that's a new name for him, but however, he is a good drummer and he was a good player, I'm told.
Charlie Gowan.
Charlie, KJ Gowan's brother. Another fine player. And very deserving.
We're not quite sure on
award.
this next person. I'm wondering if Jim Flynn of Clonus is here. No, he's not here.
To tell me Jim Flynn of Clonus isn't here, but Charlie Gowan is coming up here. Nice
Seamus P. O'Donnell.
To receive his presentation. Seamus O'Donnell, a man who's been involved in the GAA in counties, God knows how many
Joe
counties.
Jennings.
And Seamus, now presently headmaster of the vocational school, Joe Jennings. You may have heard him on radio, television.
Danny
Joe
Bannigan.
Jennings, government invitation answer, Joe Jennings. We're very proud to have him here. Danny Bannigan, now down in Ballybuffet, Lifford, that area.
Peter Daly.
Lifford. Paggy Kinney is very proud, but he was a great scale all the way from Gulchin. He was. I'll tell you.
Frank O'Donnell.
Frank O'Donnell, Big Frank as they call him, all the way from Carrick, former Kiltar, Donegal. They tell me Sligo, they tell me Connacht. They could name the teams Big Frank played for them. He's not going to make a speech, I hope. You know he isn't. He's only saying a few words. Looks as if we
Peter
can't.
Daly, has he arrived back yet?
Peter Daly was there
Right,
a few minutes ago, but he can't be got at this stage, but no problem to Peter, he'll be back.
We'll proceed now into the
Everybody's enjoying
1960s
themselves,
and
just look in
70s.
and what an enjoyable. If we were fielding a team in the morning, I don't think we would have any problem with that lot. They're so youthful and so they're in themselves. There's photographs being taken, there's cell yarns being swapped. And we're proud of every one of them, all the ERU members. Now, there are players from Ulster players, county players, players of all standards, but every one of them enjoying themselves and having a good time tonight, and that's what tonight's all about. There's a few hecklers down here in front of us, but a good commentator ignores the hecklers. So they tell me. I'm always told to ignore the hecklers. That's what's nice of the Aodh Club, and
Right, if you can,
what makes it particularly enjoyable is the fact that so many people have come from so far away
if you can resume your
to
seats,
share with us
please.
in our 75th anniversary of our foundation, and in the centenary year of the association, and every one of them are welcome. And it's a nostalgic occasion in lots of ways, but it's also an enjoyable occasion. And I see lots of old friends talking, and I could say some of this talk will go into the small hours of the morning, and why not? I do believe there are more presentations to be made, but these fellas are enjoying themselves so much. We're coming into the St. Joseph's era, but here we have people like Danny Sweeney, Michael Dolan. His son Christopher now is playing with the club under 10 team.
Right,
Jack Gallagher,
we proceed now into the
Bob
1960s.
Gallagher, Patsy Hearn.
We have a bit of order, please.
We want order. Who wants order? Who's going to get order? That's what I want to know. This man, this chairman of ours.
The early 60s started with very little success at adult level.
People haven't met for years. This is John.
The AGM of 1963 reported that the
Travers,
club had reached
chairman
rock bottom.
present.
However, success at minor level in both colleges and county championship began to lift the gloom somewhat. In 1961 we won the first minor title in 23 years, winning 5-5 to 2-9 against Dunlow. We won the minor title again in 1963, beating Glenties 2-6 to 1-6. The Little Sal team went on to the semi-final of the Ranafast narrowly by Abbey CBS Newry. The fact that so many Bundoran and Ballyshannon people were attending school together and playing together both at minor level and colleges level, coupled with the lack of success at the senior level by Ballyshannon and Bundoran, led to the amalgamation at senior level of St. Joseph's. This was perhaps the most controversial and yet one of the most successful periods of the club's history. St. Joseph's made their championship debut in 1963 in July with a 4-8 to 1-3 win over Four Masters. They were beaten in the semi-final of the championship in 63 by McCool's, the holders, and the eventual winners of the championship. And in 1964 they were also beaten by McCool's. 65 they won their first title, beating Glenties in a replay 110 to 11 points. In 1966 they won their second championship. It was awarded to St. Joseph's after McCool's, I think, refused to play. As a mark of their growing confidence in 1966, on the same day, they played a quarter-final of the championship, which they won 4-12 to 2 points, or to 3-3, sorry, against Four Masters. And then that evening, they went to Irvinstown to play the semi-final of the Ulster Club Championship, which they also won, beating the Tyrone champions, Clonaux. I don't think they do it now. They went on in November of that year to win their first Ulster Club Championship, 110 to 3-3 against St. John's of Belfast. Players now are becoming established on inter-county teams at under 21 level, minor level and senior level. Players became household names. 1968 was perhaps their most successful year. They won their second club championship in the early part of the year, the Ulster Club Championship, 9 points to 8 against Crossmaglen Rangers. They won the All-Ireland Club Championship 17 to 3-24 over 2 games against Dunmore McHale's. Perhaps the best games of football seen around here. Their third county title was won 110 to 5 points against McCool's. And then at the end of the year they were beaten by Balahi in the Ulster Club final of the following year. 1969 they were defeated in the final by St. Junans 10 points to 1-4. 1970 they won their fourth championship, beating Ross's Rovers 116 to 4 points. 71 and 72 they lost their grip a little bit and they won neither of the championships. However, at that stage they were banned from the league or excluded from the league by the rest of the county. I think they won nearly every league they played in, so I didn't even mention them. And Bundoran and Ballyshannon entered separate teams in the league. Both teams eventually won promotion to Division 1 and St. Joseph's only played in Championship. Underage football was beginning to improve considerably and Ballyshannon won the first of several championships with the Under-14 Championship. 1973 St. Joseph's re-emerged again to win the first of their 4 in a row. 1973 They beat McCool's in the final 1-8 to 6 points, or 1-8 to 1-6. They were beaten in the final of the Ulster Club 110 to 3 points by Ballinasgreen. 74, they won the championship, beating St Junans in the final 2-9 to 1-5. They lost to Timor in the park in the first round of the Ulster Club Championship. 75, they won the championship. McCool's again in the final 111 to 1-5, and went on to win the Ulster Club Championship in Omagh, beating Castleblaney by 4 points. However, they went from the St Joseph's. Anybody who was involved with them know they could be fabulous one Sunday, the next Sunday they were lousy, and one of the lousy Sundays was against Roscommon Gales, 1-7 to 3 points in the park in the All-Ireland semi-final of that. 76, they went on to win the championship for the 4th year in a row, beating Four Masters 113 to 5 points. In October of that year, they had their historic trip to the USA and Canada, perhaps a farewell party for a lot of them and a lot of us. They were defeated the following week by Bundoran 117 to 7 points, the hangover of New York. 1977, the 10th of July was their last game, beaten by McCool's in the championship. that was the end of St Joseph's. The hurlers had a very successful year in 1977. They defeated Roger Casements to win the county championship 68 to 111. They beat Lisbon 7-11 to 2-6. Dungiven 110 to 2-9, and they were beaten by a strong Armagh Cuchulainn side 3-3 to 1-5 in the Ulster Club Junior final. Now we'll proceed to the players involved in those various teams.
Club Chairman John Travers gives us synopsis, very accurate synopsis of the St Joseph's era and
Joe Neal.
There's Joe Neal, Bundoran publican at the moment, but very much a Ballyshannon man and very proud to have him here. Michael Melly, Junior, son of famous
Sean
Melly.
Murray.
Sean Murray, another jeweller in his day. Cornerback.
Jimmy Carter.
Supreme. Jimmy Carter, a hurler of renown.
Sean Boyle.
Very worthy of his award. Sean Boyle had the distinction of playing
Michael
Donegal juniors, minors rather, and playing with the seniors later in the day. One of the most promising players of his time. Has
Kieran Dolan.
Involved himself in club player at the moment. Michael McLuhan, one of the greatest of all time, surely.
Thomas Quinn.
Here in the present day, he would be an all-star. Gone out or down. Kieran Dolan came all the way from
Jerry
Cork.
McDermott.
Wholehearted player, good hurler, good player, really good player. Thomas Quinn, great player, great commitment.
Mickey McCafferty.
I believe he's also involved at the moment, training a well-known Dublin team for a well-known Dublin chairman. Jerry McDermott, well-known referee, well-known player. Mickey McCafferty, one of the most dedicated hurlers and footballers. And the sixth, Kieran Blake, goal of game Blake.
Pat McGee.
We're all delighted to have Kieran here tonight, one of the players who could really turn a game. It is
Conor Carney.
We have Pat McGee, now very involved in score and very involved in the Gaelic Club. Conor Carney.
Seamus Martin.
St Joseph's School, a great player. Seamus Martin, one of the great forwards of the 60s. Really
Josie Boyle.
could turn a game. Josie Boyle, still involved in the club, very involved, but gosh,
Pádraig
surely
McShee.
a really great player in his time. A player who played county, played club, and who really had to be reckoned with. Pádraig McShee, Ulster, Donegal.
Christy Coughlin.
Replacement all-star, great player. Christy Coughlin, another very good player. Joseph's player, won a number
Teddy Kane.
championship, and Teddy Kane played from goals to full forward, full back to centre field. One of the
Seamus
great utility
Grimes.
players. Seamus Grimes, a hurler for county and club. A supreme
Alan
hurler,
Kane.
a lovely hurler, lovely stylist in his time. Alan Kane won 2 Ulster championship and won a number of
Pádraig
championships with St Joseph's. Pádraig McGarrigle came all the way from Dublin tonight. He's presently chairman of Lucan Sarsfields.
Andy Barrett.
A great clubman in his time, away from the area for a long time, but very proud of his roots. Annie Bennett, a Mayo man, living in Donegal, brother-in-law of Park Michigan and Ray Sheeran, a good player. Jack Grimes. Well, Jack Grimes was a really wholehearted player, Donegal minor, Donegal under 21 player, and played for the club for a number of years. Jerry McIntyre, again, very, very wholehearted player. A man who got a goal when the goal was needed. And we're all proud to have Jerry here tonight. Present club secretary,
Ray Sheeran.
Jimmy O'Connell, a hurler of great renown. Ray Sheeran played for Donegal for years.
Boyle.
Very good player, Ray Sheeran. Cornerback, fullback, wherever you played him, Ray gave 100%. Another fine brother of Sean, brother of Packy.
Hughie McGowan.
And a great player. Hughie McGowan. Promising young player, Hughie McGowan. Farmer, Donegal minor. But one would feel that Hughie has a great future ahead of him.
PJ McGuinness.
PJ McGuinness. Is PJ McGuinness here? I do believe so, he is, indeed. And
Paul McClune.
we're delighted to have PJ here, a great player, son of a very famous father, and now a guard, I think. I would be maybe telling a lie, but I think he's up in Mayo or up in the west of Ireland. Paul McClune, or Bubbles as he's affectionately known. A very fleet-footed corner forward. He's slowing up a little bit. All right, but as you see with his efforts of getting up to get this medal, or whatever it is you want to call it.
Now we call on
I think we
the captain of the All-Ireland winning side in 1972,
that is
Brian Toohey, to make the presentation. 82, sorry, to make the presentation to club officials.
We're all very proud of Ryan's contribution to that, and the fact that he was captain of that team means a lot to all of us.
The first one of them is John Travers.
John Travers, did you ever hear of him? Nothing to say.
Conor McMahon.
Conor McMahon, who's he?
Tom Daly.
Tom Daly, one of our best chairman for a number of years.
John McGee.
Present player, former son of farmer,
Jimmy Gallagher.
secretary. John McGee, great treasurer for a number of years, present junior team manager. People involved in the park will know Jimmy Gallagher and know his commitment. He's one of the most committed people within the club. Pat Shields, another committed park member. Pat Shields, indeed.
Brother Kieran.
Brother Kieran, all the way back from, I believe, Cork. And we're very, very proud to have Brother Kieran here, because he's one of the people who has
John Keown.
Been inspiration to us all along. John Keown, present team selector, and we're proud of John.
Phil McClune.
Phil McClune, Mickey, father of Mickey, father of
Father Cahill.
Very good player indeed. Father Cahill, president of this club, and it's with great pleasure we have
Francis Gallagher
Cahill here in our midst and make this presentation to him. And thank God for the lead he has given to us and to the youth in the area. Phil McClune's coming here. Francis Gallagher, handballer, junior selector. Great club man. Phil McClune, another man who's I've spoken about before, but who's given great.
PJ Buggy.
Modesty prevents me from leaving my post.
Brother Canis.
Brother Canis. What can I say? He taught me all I know. And he was a great club man, great hurler.
Brother Rayfield.
Very involved in the club. We have Brother Rayfield coming up here. Brother Rayfield is the father over everything I believe in.
Ferguson.
And that's underage football, underage leagues, kids. Look at Mickey Mitsloon standing there. Why wouldn't he give him a round of applause? Why wouldn't we all? Brother Rayfield. One of the great Gaels, one of the greatest Gaels this town has ever known.
Tom Toohey.
Peter Ferguson, present under 21 and senior team manager. Another great Gael.
Frank McHale.
Brian's father. Bit of fatherly, brotherly love here, etc., etc. Tom, a great man for the club. Frank is a great
Val Wynn.
man, a Mayo man who's been here for a number of years, given. And Val, another, former secretary and
Seamus McDermott.
Seamus McDermott came all the way from Kerry now for this award. He's a great secretary in his day. Another son of the Dodger and a member of
Seamus
the,
O'Donnell.
a member of the famous McDermott team. And we have Seamus O'Donnell, who hasn't been so involved in the club for a number of years, but again who's led a lot of people here by example, and whose school, Creevy, have won the senior
Sean Slevin
school,
Jr.
National Schools Championship this year. Sean Slevin Jr., a man of the future, a man whose career was
Jerry
cut short
Feely.
by injury, but he's a really good club man, involved in under 16, under 14, under 18, right along the line. Jerry Feely, former official, and indeed we're very grateful to have Jerry here tonight.
Now, there may be a slight problem with the county ones earlier. There was a few minors and a few senior players. We were a few certificates short, so that we can sort that one out later, hopefully.
There's a problem, but sure, John Travers will solve that. No problem, Tom. And if John Travers doesn't, sure Sean Oak will anyway. Any comments?
I have a list of a number of people coming up to me here now. Kieran McCready, Dan Dorian,
and I won't make any comment either.
Joe O'Neill, Jerry Lappin, Sean Drummond, Peter Daly, Pat McGee. There's still a few more that we haven't got enough certificates for. It's beyond our control at the moment, so we hope to get those sorted out, okay?
We'll have them before the night's out.
Now we'll go on to the Senior Player of the Year. And in a year that wasn't very memorable for our senior team. One man who made a sacrifice perk for the club, and he stood out for his service to the club more than anybody else this year. Senior Player of the Year, Sylvester Maguire.
And very, very deservedly so. Now playing great football with Donegal. One of the best underage players we've had for a number of years. One of the nicest lads who ever have gone to Aodh Ruadh jersey. And surely Sylvester Maguire is a very worthy recipient of this award. And I think everybody here will agree. And let's all wish him the best of luck in 85 in both club and county. One of the most popular awards of the night.
I think the Junior Player of the Year is unavoidably absent, as far as I know. Justin Coughlin.
Justin Coughlin can't be here. And again, a very, very dedicated player. A guy who turns up hail, rain or snow, who never misses a game, who gives
we'd like
it all
to make a small
times.
presentation to Michal, the county chairman.
Michal Haspik, Taoiseach, Chattanish. The old bones were getting stiff, but he's on the way up. And John Travers presents to Michal Haspik, and very deservedly so, one of our finest chairmen. And let's hope he stays on for another period.
And also to the man in charge of the video here tonight that's going to record this for posterity, Packie Keeney.
Packie Keeney, modesty prevents Packie no more than myself from heading up for this. Which are,
who's going to hold the camera for him?
I hold the camera. Good old Packie. Go on, I'm going up. Here, you have to go from front of the camera.
Thank you.
Thank you. There's a blank there, but sure. The cameraman received his just award, and let's thank him for being here.
Sorry for boring you, but it's 100 years to be bored, and I think that's if I am boring you. I think we'll take two more speakers, and then we'll close. Sean McCormack to speak on behalf of the neglected few among us, the ladies.
The ladies. Sean McCormick on behalf of the ladies. What about that? What about that? What is on? Yeah. Oh, he has a big page with him, I'm afraid. He has a big page with him, huh?
Cahilia, agus a cordial ear. Well, first of all, I want to thank you most sincerely for inviting us to be your guests here tonight. For as Michael Gillespie has said, this is a unique and a historic occasion. There is no doubt about that. And since we received your invitation, we have been looking forward very eagerly to joining you in your centenary celebration tonight. For even though Ballyshannon is not our native heath, we have ties and connections and friendships here that are at the very core of the way we have lived our lives. Memories of continuing to grow up from late teens, memories of joy, of sadness sometimes, which are indelible and which we will carry with us for the rest of our lives. We will cherish them. They will always be with us. And we surely found Ballyshannon to be, in the words of Allingham, the kindly spot, the friendly town, where everyone is known.
Sean is a native of Sligo, spent a number of years.
And I can say without any shadow of doubt that this association, the Gaelic Athletic Association, and the members of your club in particular, contributed and continue to contribute in no small measure to the spirit and the atmosphere of the community that Allingham reflected with such stunning simplicity. So when I was asked to propose a vote of thanks to all you ladies here tonight, I was delighted to say, yes, please. For it gave me an opportunity not only to say how I feel about Ballyshannon, but also to express an appreciation for people who have in the main been much neglected in the annals of the Gaelic Athletic Association. And I think all the men will agree on that.
Hear, hear.
I have no hesitation in saying that our wives and our mothers and our sisters and our daughters are the unsung heroines of the association. Their profile has been low, their influence unobtrusive, but their contribution to the association has been immeasurable. Ladies, you have washed our kits, you have cleaned our boots, you have nursed our injuries, you have stayed at home while we trained and played, made the tea, listened to the tales of games being played and replayed and made more tea, comforted the disappointment of our defeats and now and again shared in the joys of victory. There are many stories told which have become part of the folklore of the GAA in Ballyshannon. Seamus Cleary has a famous saying, would that we could fall into your arms without falling into your hands. And Phil McLoone tells with great relish the fable about the Ballyshannon footballer who for obvious reasons shall remain unnamed. When he got married and on the first night of the honeymoon, his wife said to him, I'm shivering. So he got out of bed and he got another blanket and he threw it on top of the bed. And after another while, she said, I'm still shivering. So he got out of bed again and he got another blanket and threw it on the bed. So after another while, she said, when I was at home sleeping with my mother, when I was cold, she used to put her arms around me. And he said, Well, if you think I'm going back to Ballyshannon for your old mother, he said, you have another thing coming. And Jim Gallagher had the famous one about the well-known GAA lady who went into C.C. Maguire. She was having a problem with moths. So C.C. diagnosed the problem and gave her 12 camphor balls.
She needed them.
She went home and came back in the next morning. And she says, I want more camphor balls. So he says, what? Enough yesterday to do you for 12 months. But she says, I stayed up all night and I didn't hit any of them. John Slevin tells the story about
they're all great storytellers.
About Willie and Bridie who went to Dublin for the All-Ireland. Did you remember that one, Joe? You do?
I do, of course.
Well, they went up on Friday evening anyway, and on Saturday they decided to do a tour of the city. So they were going round, and the bus conductor was saying, this is Patrick Street, John Street. What other streets are there? George's Street. So Willie decided that he had had enough of this and he was going to get out. And he says, come on, we better get out here. She says, sit down there and your name is called. Well, enough of such nonsense. Friends, from the time of Cuchulainn and Emer to the modern times of William Butler Yeats and Maud Gonne, Irish women have been a source of inspiration to Irish men. You ladies, you have been a source of inspiration to us. In the words of Byron, you walk in beauty. Thank you very much indeed.
John McCormick, and one of the great Gaels, presently living in Milford, former Donegal.
Justin Coughlin has arrived, so we'll present the Junior Player of the Year.
Certainly covered everything there. And we now have Justin Coughlin to receive his Junior Player of the Year award, and a very worthy recipient indeed. And good round.
Our final speaker to reply on behalf of the guests is Jim Gallagher.
And another big round of applause. Another one of the greats of yesteryear, and certainly a man who's still about, very active, very willing to give us his advice if required.
Here, look, a hurry, there's no brothery, as a cordia. It always seems to fall my turn to follow the highlight of the night.
What was the highlight?
However, whilst I do consider it, I don't know about an honour, but I certainly consider it a privilege to be asked here to reply on behalf of the... We all know what we're here for, and if I could just reminisce a little bit down through the years. It's a great privilege for me to be in a room with such distinguished Gaels, because for me the GAA has been a wonderful organisation. It's a national organisation, not in the political sense, but in the sense that Gaelic games are played in every parish, no matter how remote, in all of this country. And GAA players and GAA people and GAA followers have an affinity that no matter where they go, they always have a common bond. Let it be in the most remote, as I said, parish in the country, or let it be in Britain, or let it be indeed in far-off America. We have a common bond where GAA men get together, where we can talk about deeds past, about games past, and about games that we have played in. But it's not all in the past. I hope
that the GAA, after a very successful 100 years, will go on from strength to strength. We're also here to honour the men who have gone before us, the men who had the foresight to found our club in 1909, the men who promoted the game from that time, the men who had the vision in 1948 to purchase a stadium, to purchase a rocky field, I should say, which has developed into the premier stadium in County Donegal. They have left a legacy that will last long after they have gone, and unfortunately some of them have gone. And they've put their life's work into it, and unfortunately they didn't live to see it into fruition. However, I would like to pay a tribute to the De La Salle brothers, who promoted and looked after underage players, where we all learned to play football. They endowed us with a spirit, a will to win. Not that winning, indeed, was the most important thing, but it was very important to us at that time. They learned, taught us to play the game like men, as it should be played, to be humble in victory and to be dignified in defeat. We have had plenty of experiences on both counts down through the years.
Jim Gallagher, former Donegal Ulster player and club chairman.
And before I leave that,
former club chairman.
I would also like to pay a special tribute to the men who dedicate themselves to the underage players of today, and have been since the De La Salle brothers left us. I'm glad to see the De La Salle brothers well represented here today. Very good friends of mine right down the years. I was about to pay a tribute to the men who dedicate themselves, give of their time unstintingly, to look after our young players since the brothers left. They deserve our thanks, because the schoolboys of today are certainly the seniors of tomorrow. I'm very well sure all of you have listened to enough speaking here tonight, but as I said already, it's a pleasure and certainly a privilege for me to be asked, given the opportunity, to return thanks on behalf of the guests, and without further ado, I propose that. Thank you.
Certainly it was a pleasure to listen to Jim Gallagher and to listen to his views on Gaelic football, which are well known throughout the country. Jim, one of the greatest scales
thank you, Jim.
Of all time.
Just to conclude, the legacy that you have left, players, officials over the last number of years, have left the club in a very, very strong position. Granted, we had our disappointments on the playing field, but I think the success of tonight's get-together and the success of the club at the present time leaves us in a strong position to look forward to the second century of Cumlaloo Scale. I'd like to possibly mention two of our deceased people. When you start mentioning people, it's very dangerous. Hugh Daly, John McDermott, I think deserve...
Hugh Daly, number of years. John McDermott, a very, very respected Gael throughout the country. Area was his life, Donegal, again.
I'm reluctant to sort of mention names because you can cause offence by leaving out people. Before I go on to thank the various people very briefly, this experience was something like a wedding. When you start inviting people, when you start having a function like this, you inevitably will have problems and regrets, things that you should have done in hindsight and so on. If there's anybody offended, it was not intentional. I think that we succeeded in having a successful get-together, and we did as best we could under the circumstances. I'd like to thank the hotel for the magnificent meal and all the cooperation, the facilities that Brian McNiff has put at our disposal here tonight. The band you're shortly about to hear, the Noel Corn Group from Donegal Town. Barry Britton for the design on the commemorative scroll, and the Donegal Democrat for printing. The various members of the committee, I mentioned nobody, that everybody was involved in the success of tonight and the success of the running of the club. Packy Keeney for the Vital Gillespie, a county chairman, for coming. The local press for their help in the organisation of tonight and their coverage over the years. The Donegal Democrat for Man and News, Derry People, People's Press. The De La Salle brothers and all those people who have travelled. As was mentioned earlier, Sean McGettigan coming from Birmingham has to go back for tomorrow night. I think the people who travelled made tonight all that much more enjoyable for everybody here. And thanks to them. If you see anybody going around with a tape, trying to tape you, it's nothing sinister. We have a few people going around taping people who we may not see again, that we may be able to get some information for the club history that we're about halfway through compiling. Our only concession to commercialism tonight is a raffle. There's a cinder hanging around over there. If you could hold it up, please. And it's not tickets. There'll be somebody going around. If you write your name in £1 and put it in a box, and that'll be the raffle. Minimum disturbance to everybody. That's our only concession.
Or a £10 note, of course.
I think that's all the thanks.
Nobody
I think
refuses.
that perhaps the speech making has gone on for a little bit too long, but
Not at all, John.
It'll be 100 years before you all get the chance of being bored like this again. Thank you, and
Thanks
enjoy
very much, John.
tonight.
Well, that brings the speech making to an end, and everybody's looking forward to a most enjoyable night. And the atmosphere here is absolutely excellent, and there's no doubt, but tonight is going to be a night to remember.
Will next you please put your hands together for Richard Fitzgerald. Come on now, nice big round of applause for our next musician. Thank you very, very much indeed. Thank you.